probably the only thing we will agree on, at least most of us, that the intuition, that consciousness exists. Again, like I said, because they just started recording, it could be also what some people say, trying to become more conscious is like jumping from a wave to another wave and trying to feel the wetness or to experience and discover the wetness of water. So, pure consciousness equals pure love, equals God, Goddess. All that is, the divine creative energy. In other words, it's a humongous subject. So, for practical purposes, practically speaking, awareness is being free in all aspects of our lives, being aware of what motivates us to act, to think, to say, the awareness of the nature of our reality and of the cosmos's reality. The more we identify and understand the quality of this consciousness or awareness, the closer we move to self-mastery and wholeness. So here we're talking about basically transforming our fear. We are either in fear or in love, or shades in between. Once you get rid of the fear, what remains? Pure love or absolute consciousness. Or if you want, pure awareness, many words for the same thing. So the purpose of this seminar is to maybe get some of you interested in the course I'm going to give on Saturday. And that course is going to have to do with consciousness, but in a more practical manner. So here for our purpose, it's about waking up to our reality, to who we really are, capital A, waking up to the nature of the cosmos. These things are pretty much tangible, if I could say. If you've done a lot of work in the transpersonal, or if you've done some spiritual work, then these are certain knowings that a lot of people know about. And now is the time. Now is the perfect time for this. The plant is going into the heart-based consciousness. We've been in the ego-based consciousness for a while now, and it's changing right now. All of you have chosen to be here right now for a reason. So the mystics, they all agree. It's the religious people that sometimes fight, but the mystics, and not people in general, will agree that all is well, all is okay. Despite all the mess in the world, that strange paradox, all is okay, because most people will say, no, it's not okay. But the truth is they're sleeping still, okay? So, you know, it's about really knowing who we are. This farmer's walking around and he finds an egg of an eagle on the ground. So he takes that egg and goes back to his farm, his barn house, and puts that egg with the eggs of the chickens. And obviously, as you all know, they hatch. And the little eagle is living with the little chickens, okay? And the little eagle thinks he's a chicken. And he's scratching for worms and insects like the little chicken. And he clucks like a chicken. And he thrashes his wings and, you know, flies a little bit like a chicken. He grows up and he thinks he's a chicken. And he gets old. And as he gets old, one day he's looking up in the sky and he sees this majestic bird freely just gliding in the blue sky. And he asks his buddy chicken next to him, wow, what is that? In awe. And the chicken says, wow, that's the king of the birds. That's the king of the sky. That's the eagle. So the eagle is in awe in front of this. Well, the little eagle, or the old eagle, doesn't know he's an eagle, but he's in awe in front of this eagle. And he dies of old age without knowing he's an eagle. So the moral of the story is, who are you? Who do you really think you are? See, that's the question. The question of the century, or the question of, that's a very important question. Are you a spiritual being living in an earthly experience? Are you multidimensional? Are you just your body? Are you the awareness that is aware of your thoughts, of your behaviors, of your emotions? Are you that awareness that is aware of the thoughts? Who are you is the big question. Now, a lot of people have answered that, but even more people have not answered that. Well, this is what we're going to talk about in the course on Saturday. Now, the thing is, people don't really want to change. People do not want to transform. It takes a lot of effort. So they're in their comfort zone, they're happy, they're still having a nightmare, so to speak. Most people don't know their purpose or their soul's purpose, or they don't know where, who they are, why they are living these human experiences. Well, these are questions, in my opinion, which have been answered over, over the years. These are either knowings or maybe certain beliefs, but I think that nowadays it's pretty obvious if you do a little bit of work that these knowings become clearer and clearer, or just these beliefs become knowings, so to speak. It's like this story of the headmaster. This father wakes up one day and goes and knocks on the door of his son, and then he says, "Son, get up, you have to go to school." And the son says, "No, I don't want to go to school." And the father says, "Yeah, you have to go to school." And the son says, "No, there are three reasons I don't want to go to school. And one reason is, I'm bored over there. And the second reason is all those students criticize me. And the third reason is that I just don't like it anymore. I hate school." And then the father says to his son, "Well, I'm going to give you 3 reasons. First of all, it's your responsibility to go to school. Second of all, you're 45 years old. And third of all, you are the headmaster. Get up." The point being what? The point being that people don't really want to change. They're in their comfort zone because it takes effort, because you have to think, do, and be. And that's a lot. You have to change your habits, so to speak. You have to transform the fears. So, do you believe that there is something you can do today to completely destroy your life? Can you destroy your life? Well, of course you can do something that will destroy your life. Another question, do you believe that there's something you can do today and maybe tomorrow to better your lives? Well, of course. Well, whose responsibility is it to destroy, to transform your lives for the better? Whose responsibility is it? Well, it's our own. So why do so few people take so little action? Fear. False evidence appearing real. If you know who you are, really, in your heart, not in your mind, but in your heart, there's no fear anymore. There's no fear of death. There's no fear of pain. There's no fear of losing a loved one. There's no fear of being alone. There's no fear whatsoever, if you know who you are. So, again, I'm not going to push the river. I'm not going to try to change anybody. It's up to you to change yourself, so to speak, because some people, are just not ready, and that's okay. At the spiritual level, we're all equal. Okay, so let's say this. And by the way, and there's another story about a businessman who walks into a bar. He walks into a bar and he sees this guy with a banana in his ear. And he says, "How strange is that?" Then he goes to talk to him, says, no, I'm not going to talk to that guy. It's too weird. That's none of my business. So anyway, this businessman sits at the bar and he starts drinking a little bit. And after a couple of glasses of wine, He says, I'm going to go talk to that guy. What's wrong with that guy? So he goes to talk to the guy and says, do you know you have a banana in your ear? And the guy says, looks at him and says, talk louder, I can't hear you. So the businessman says, you have a banana in your ear. And the guy says, I can't hear you, talk louder. So the businessman looks at him and says, you have a banana in your ear. And the guy looks at him and says, talk louder, I have a banana in my ear. You know, so that's the whole point. Some people know they have bananas in their ear and still don't want to hear very well or listen or whatever it is. So why am I telling you this? Because the truth is, a lot of people don't want to change. It's too difficult, they say. But what's the price of not working on yourself? What's the price of not knowing who you are? Those are the questions you should ask yourselves. It's just that simple. So, having said that, I want you to really think about this. I'm giving a series of courses every Saturday, which will help you go on your path. To me, waking up, consciousness, spirituality, they're all the same. And that's the interplay between the divine and the horizontal, or the duality, is where you are the most creative, where you are the most joyful. That interplay right here in this duality. You see, we're spiritual beings living an earthly experience to remember with God and or Godness or all that is, and to manifest our divinity here and now and here. Besides the fact that that's where we get the most joy and where we are the most creative and loving. So the first thing you want to understand is, if you want to become more conscious, they say, is that you don't want to, you know, be really conscious, or you don't want to wake up really. And here's the test that I'm going to challenge you with. So just to prove the point that most people don't really want to change. They don't really want to change. They're comfortable. Okay. So here, 1 second, the electricity went out. Here we're talking about people who are not really sure yet what they want to do. Here we're talking about a person, for example, who would say, I'm not too sure I'm interested in my own happiness. I'm not too sure about that. So think about someone you love very much and tell that person in your own mind, if I had a choice between being happy, I mean really, really happy, or having you and being comfortable. So the choice is, I'm really, really going to be happy, or my choice is to be with you and I'll be okay, I'll be comfortable, but not necessarily really happy. So one choice is I'm super happy. One choice is I have you and your partner, your spouse, whoever, and I'm comfortable. So if I had a choice between being really happy or having you, I would choose being happy. Now, how many of you felt selfish when you said that? When you choose to be happy instead of being with your partner or being with someone that's okay, you're comfortable with. You see, we've been brainwashed. How could I be so selfish, you might say. Now imagine someone saying to you, how could you be so selfish and choose happiness over me? See, this is about so-called selfishness and happiness. So how could you be so selfish and choose happiness over me? Well, to which you reply, how could you be so selfish that you would demand I choose you over my own happiness? We have been brainwashed in our society about happiness, about love, about success. It's time to take back our power here. In this scenario, for example, I would love her, if it's, let's say, a woman, I would love her at the cost of my own happiness. And she would love me at the cost of her own happiness. So here we're both two people that are unhappy but supposedly love each other, because we say we've been taught that happiness is sacrifice. We've been taught that happiness or love is to be unselfish. That's what we've been taught. But think about it a little bit. Think. They say love is sacrifice, they say love is unselfishness, but we end up with two unhappy people who love each other supposedly. That's weird. But the thing is, we don't really want to be unconditionally happy. We want to have conditions. I want my wife, I want my this, I want that, I want money. We want this and that in order to be happy. It's conditional. And the truth is, it's a lot simpler. We have been brainwashed again. So waking up starts on the inside. Happiness starts on the inside. Now, suppose someone gave you a way to find it. Inside of you, a way to be free and happy. Now, that sounds pretty practical. And the thing is, it's not brain surgery. It's just about changing or clarifying some values, maybe. That's what it's all about. Can you think of anything more practical than to find a way internally to be free and happy? There's nothing more practical or effective for that matter. Instead, you have people thinking that big business, politics, science is more practical. What's the use of putting a man on the moon if we're not being able to live with each other on Earth? Think about it. Why am I saying this? I think that technologically we have advanced so much, but spiritually we're still infants. I don't think we have developed enough spiritually. And the thing is, it's the spiritual. It's always the spiritual that leads the mental, the physical, the emotional. Maybe that's my knowing, not necessarily yours or your truth. But look at the world now, okay? Are we strong spiritually in the world in general? Or are we stronger technologically or more advanced? Well, that's all consciousness. Your inner world, the energy you bathe in, is going to create your outer world. All this is manifesting because of the collective consciousness, the collective energy people are bathing in. We have some very illuminated people on the earth right now, but we have a lot more density right now. But it's changing as we speak. It's changing. So, there's this parable. By the way, there's a little book called Conversations with God. I'm sure you know about it. Neil Donald Walsh is the author. It might help you on your path if you read it. He has 4 books, and I really advise you read it and even study it. And there's one story in it where there's a soul who knew itself to be the light, a young soul, and this soul knows it's the light. It was a new soul and very anxious for experience, and used to go around saying, I'm the light, it said. And yet all the knowing of it and all the saying of it could not substitute for the experience of it. It's about experiencing. Guess why we're experiencing all these experiences? Think about it. So anyway, the soul was surrounded by light and seemed to be like a candle in the sun. It's a little soul, a little light, but surrounded by God, Goddess, the sun, the greatest light there is. So in the middle of this grandest light of which it was a part, it could not see itself nor could it experience itself as who and what it really was. So the dilemma here is this little light is surrounded by so much light, doesn't really know who it is, or it can't really experience it. So God, Goddess came out with a trick, if you want, the veil of forgetfulness, or if you want, ignorance. And it told this little light to separate itself and to call on the darkness. So the little light, the soul, said, what's darkness? God, Goddess replied, well, darkness is what you are not. So for you to experience who you are, separate yourself and call on the darkness. And the little soul did that because it would do anything to experience the light that it is, but relatively speaking, it didn't feel it because of that light. So it separated itself and called on the darkness and experienced pain and experienced a lot of suffering, and then started to cuss out the darkness. Well, be a light in the darkness. That's the whole point. Cuss not the darkness. Judge not the darkness. It's the darkness that is helping you realize who you are, basically. So that consciousness, if you will, excuse me, that consciousness is what is going to create your world. That consciousness of knowing who you are. Remember who you are. That's really what it's all about. You see? So we can create a better world. Do you understand the world a little bit better? Why we live in this duality? Why we have this polarity? So here, if there's anybody who wants to talk and chat, let me see how you're feeling about this. Let me see some questions, if you don't mind. So here we go. Participants. Anything you want to say, you can chat with me here. There we go. So give me some feedback. Any questions whatsoever? Hi, Humaira, how are you? Now you might ask, okay, what should I do or how should I be to become more conscious? Excuse me. Well, meditation is one great method. Meditation is talking to God, just waiting for insights. Can you please repeat the name of the author and book you recommended? Okay, Anja. It's called Conversations with God. And the author is Neil Donald Walsh. Yeah, Humaira, when we talk to God, but we don't get an answer, it's because you still have a lot of fear, or you have some anger, or fear, anger, guilt, stress, sadness, loneliness, boredom, frustration, depression, that's blocking that. What you want to do is be able to connect. And there are ways to connect. As a matter of fact, you're connected, but maybe you're just blocked by excess fear or sadness. The thing is, meditation is probably difficult for a lot of Westerners because we lead such busy lives. So there are many ways to connect. You can have a very engaging type of meditation where you're interacting or using the breath. You can have a very, calm meditation with mantras. Whatever suits you. This is up to you to choose. I'm just offering some techniques and modalities, but it's about being aware that you are the awareness that is aware of your emotions. You are the awareness that is aware of your thoughts and behaviors. It's in that silent place inside that you will hear the voice of God, Goddess. It's about being still. It's not necessarily about any technique or modality. It's just about being. But it's like trying to taste your own tongue. You can't taste your own tongue and let go of the baggage and let go of the attachments and addictions that easily, even though the shamans in Peru make fun of us because we don't know how to let go, supposedly. All right? Do I have to believe in God to be spiritual? Of course. Well, not necessarily in God, but do you believe in something? Do you believe in Creator? Do you believe in something that is bigger than yourself? Do you believe you have a soul? Do you believe you have a spirit? What do you mean by do I have to believe in God? What is your definition, Naranda? What's your definition? So Narendra is asking me, do I have to believe in God to be spiritual? It sure helps, but my point is, what's your definition? God is an imagination. Well, the imagination can lead to the imaginal. The imagination can lead to the spiritual, okay? Now, have you ever had an intuition or a hunch that something was going to happen or somebody was going to call you? Or did you have enough synchronicities in your life to find out that the probability was too high for that to happen, yet it happened? Do you believe in the law of attraction? What do you believe in? If you believe in nothing, you stand for nothing. One psychiatrist once said, don't believe too much, but yet believe in something, or else what? You stand for nothing. What's the meaning of your life, Naranda? Tell me, what is the meaning of your life? And we can pursue this line of question. I believe in the goodness of humanity. Okay. So if you want to call pure goodness and pure love, call it God. You don't have to call it God. Call it pure goodness, pure love. Do you believe in pure goodness and pure love? So, agreed. Okay. Hi, anyone can unmute themselves if as well you have any questions. All right. So, okay, so we agree. Let's call it an energy. Let's call it pure goodness or pure love. And we do live in duality. We do need evil, believe it or not, because we are living in this duality. It's the dark side that makes you aware of the good. It's the good that makes you aware of the dark. This is the way it is in this duality we have chosen to be in. We have chosen to be here. Why? To embrace the duality, transcend the duality and create a new consciousness. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Does that make sense to anybody? So again, there are many modalities. If you, Pia is telling me that you can unmute if you want and talk, that'd be fine. Let me check and make sure. Okay. Why do we feel anxious out of nowhere? Sometimes there's no particular reason for feeling it. It just comes out of nowhere. It's because we're not aligned with our inner self. What does it even mean to be aligned? Okay. Pardon me. Okay, one question. So let me answer. What does it mean to be aligned? Well, it could be to be aligned with goodness. It could be to be aligned with God, Goddess. It could be aligned with love. It could be aligned with whatever you choose as your energy, as the energy you want to bathe in. You know, maybe you have experiences that you need to experience. Maybe you need to experience hate and anger and violence. But eventually, down the line, if you believe in past lives or, you know, reincarnation, eventually you're going to wake up. Wake up, in other words, means what? To feel free of the fear, the anger, the guilt, the stress, the sadness. To feel free of the attachments and the addictions. To feel joy, quiet joy. Do I have to have a purpose in life? Well, if you want to feel good about yourself, I would strongly suggest you have a purpose. But what is the purpose of your soul, Naranda, if you believe in that? You believe in goodness, correct? Well, why do you believe in goodness? What's the goal? What's the point of believing in goodness? Why do you choose to believe in goodness? It makes me happy. Okay, so that sounds like joy. What is your nature? Your nature seems to be joy. Well, that's a purpose. Decide to be happy. What makes you happy? What makes you happy? If you really think about it and ponder the question, and I'm sure you know, is that the spiritual always leads the mental, the physical, the emotional. It's not the other way around. What gives you your state of mind? It's the meaning you give things. It's also what you focus on, and it's your physicality, your body. So if you're sick, you might feel a little bit tired or depressed. There's an emotion there. If you're strong and feeling energetic, you're eating well and you're healthy and you're focused on something negative, you're going to feel bad. If you interpret life as just, you know, we go, we die, and that's it, then does that make you happy? What makes me happy, and I choose my knowing, I choose my belief, is that we are eternal. You don't have to do that. I'm just saying that's just me, because I have chosen to believe. I have chosen to believe that we're loved unconditionally. I have chosen to believe and have the faith. By the way, I've not only chosen, I've experienced it. But my point is, experiential knowledge is what will probably convince you to choose goodness over anger or goodness over evil. It's up to you. You're here to experience anyway. You have freedom of choice. Try all the experiences, and then you'll probably draw the same conclusion that I drew. Is that you're eternal? Is that you're unconditionally loved? Is that life is joyful? That death is nothing, it's just a transition. That's what I chose to believe. That's why, a lot of people are spiritual because they've chosen to believe that. Or like you said, to believe in goodness. I'm not preaching anything. I'm just showing you my experience. I'm showing you ways, if you like to be happy. Yes, joyful is great, no doubt. What about peace? What about love? What did Yogananda say about peace? Always choose peace. Okay, what about serenity? Eventually, you'll get to a point where the world is right now, and you get tired of battling, you get tired of wars, you get tired of the struggle, and there's no point to it. You get tired of the excess ego and the unbalanced ego, and you go from the ego-based to the heart-based consciousness. It's all about consciousness. You are creators, but you create with your consciousness. Everybody has a purpose in life, but most are distracted from realizing it by outside influences, mainly false belief systems. Okay, well, who are we to say it's false or not false, right? Everybody has their path. But I tend to agree with you, and I will say, I'll add more to this. It's not maybe a purpose in life, but it's more the purpose of your soul, if you believe in the soul. All this is about consciousness. All this is about freedom of choice. Consciousness is creative. Consciousness is free. Do you know what freedom means? Have you felt the freedom? Have you felt the peace? Have you felt the joy? Have you felt the love? If you haven't, you are about to. It's coming soon in a nearby movie next to you. This is all an illusion, but think about why you're living this illusion. What's the point? If I were living in love all the time, pure love, how would that feel? Would you feel stuck eventually? Why is it that they say that spirits want to come into matter, and matter, us, bodies, want to go back home to spirit? Why is that? Think about it. Ponder the question. What makes living these experiences in duality, which are intense, what makes it so worthy, so enticing to the spirit world? Have you thought about that? Let's suppose you're watching a movie where everybody loves everybody, nobody wants anything from anybody. Everybody is happy and loving, and that's it. Now what? What else is there to create? Well, think about your lives. In this duality, there is no light unless there's dark. There's no dark unless there's light. Can we be without attachment? Well, what is an attachment to you? Eating food and drinking water could be an attachment. But yes, of course you can be without an attachment, without an addiction. But again, what's your definition? Is eating food, good food, an attachment? Or is that a necessity? I know gurus in India that spent 3 months in the ground without eating and drinking, and then come out of the ground alive. So, do we have to have food? Do we have to have water? I don't know. What is your belief? What is your knowing? In our society, I would say yes, but some people have proven otherwise. It all depends on your consciousness, on what you focus on. You will attract what you focus on. You will attract the energy that you are bathing in. If you're angry, you're going to attract anger and more problems. If you're bathed in serenity and peace, then that's what you're going to attract. I'm talking long term. You know, your energy is also the way you think. What you think is important. How many of the ascended masters have said, you are what you think? How many of the trainers in this world who are worthy of talking say, you become what you think about the most? How many? If you've done some work on yourself, you'll know that there are many. If you've experienced it, then it becomes a knowing. If it's not a knowing yet, what do you have to lose? Try doing or accepting these conversations that we have. Sattvam, I don't know what that means, but you're going to have to do it in English, Naranda. Okay? So again, what is that? What is waking up? Who is awake? Who's not awake? Do we know really? Okay. Sanskrit. Okay, now I get you. So how do we know? Well, does it matter? Let's just say that being happy, and I'm talking happy for no reason. I'm talking too peaceful for unnecessary fear, anger, guilt. I'm talking about too strong for negativity. I'm talking too aware not to know who you are. And I'm talking about too happy for anybody to bother you. Too happy for unrest. Now it's a decision, first of all. Happiness is a decision. It also has to do with your belief system. Correct? Too happy to permit presence of trouble. Happy for no reason. Do you need a reason? You're alive, you're eternal, you're unconditionally loved. Death is just a transition. Is that enough, or do you have to have $100 million in the bank, a beautiful wife, or 15 children, and be successful? And do you have to have those conditions to be happy? That's making it very difficult. So anyway, there's a guy called Abid. He's on top of the hill in his mansion. He's made a lot of money. He did very well financially, but he's somewhat paralyzed, and he walks on crutches. So this guy Abid is in his mansion, in his room, and his staff has the day off. And he's alone. And he hears a noise outside, so he goes on his crutches to the window to see what's happening. And then all of a sudden, somebody bursts into his room, and it is his sworn enemy. Let's say James. James bursts into the room and is about to shoot him between the eyes. And Abid says, well, now come on, James, I'm not the same person. You're not going to kill me because I stole your girlfriend, are you? So James says, well, you know what? I am. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing can stop me. I'm going to kill you now. I'm going to shoot you in the head. So Abid says, yes, there is something I can do. I can wake up. And all of a sudden, life is no longer a nightmare and everything is okay. Just like I stated earlier, mystics all agree that everything is okay despite the chaos. But this is only going to happen if you decide to adopt certain beliefs or to have experiential knowledge which will confirm that knowing for you. Now, how do you do that? Usually, seekers get what they want eventually. It can happen in many ways. It can not happen. Eventually, it will happen. So the point is, you have many paths. They all lead to the same. All paths lead to Rome. They all always lead to the same, which is pure consciousness. That's just my opinion, folks. Again, now, people will say you need to clear your karma, you need to heal your inner child. Yes, these are blockages. Blockages to higher insights, blockages. The biggest blockage I say would be fear of not knowing who you are. But once you do, your whole life changes, as a lot of you know already. So what I'm going to do now is just to ask you to close your eyes and just breathe. Breathe a little bit. Breathe deeper and faster than usual, and just focus on your breath. Get out of your head, get out of your mind. To find God, you need to be out of your mind. You need to go into the heart. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just to breathe fast and deep and just focus on the breath, or focus on your heart. At the count of 1, just breathe in deep and fast. Don't stop. It doesn't have to be a belly breath. Just breathe in without stopping, deep and fast. And then we'll talk in 5 or 7 minutes. 3, 2, 1, just breathe in, fast and deep. Keep breathing fast and deep. Focus on your breath. If your mind wanders, come back, focus on your breath. Go a little faster, a little deeper now. A little faster and a little deeper. Keep breathing. Keep your eyes closed, keep breathing faster and deeper. Don't stop, keep going. Okay, now keep your eyes closed and focus on the vibrations in your hands and your body. You can even hear these vibrations. Some people see them. Just feel them for now. Now these vibrations are the aliveness of your cells. These vibrations are the aliveness of your body. Allow these vibrations to expand into the room, into your whole body, into the room. Allow them to expand. These vibrations are creative, are divine, are consciousness. Allow them to expand into the room, into the city, into the country, into the seas, into the whole planet, the oceans, the galaxies, just by your intention, because they are already there. The divine creative energy is there. The consciousness is everywhere. Not limited to your brain like some people think. No, it's everywhere. Allow it to grow and expand and become one with your higher self. Become one with your spirit self. Become one with your good self. Become one with your loving self, your true self. You are one with your true self, your higher self. You are multidimensional. You are peaceful no matter what. That's who you really are. You're strong no matter what. I'm talking about spiritual strength or divine strength. You are aware of who you are. Once you become one, we're all one. We are parts of the divine, and the divine is made up of all the parts. Just like the little drops of water in the ocean are parts of the whole ocean. And the ocean is made up of the parts. We are the same. You're a spiritual being, first and foremost, living an earthly experience. To embrace duality, understand it through your experiences, transcend it, and create a new consciousness. We are creators. We're more than our body and our minds, a lot more than that. We're a lot more than emotions and attachments. And yes, loving has nothing to do with being attached. Can we truly be enlightened and free if we have attachments to loved ones? Well, if you love them, you're not attached to them. If you love yourself, you're not attached. This being, this true being, this conscious being that you are, is happy no matter what. Is loved unconditionally, like a little baby is loved by a loving mother, unconditionally loved. No matter what you think you've done, killed, lied, stole, you're unconditionally loved, completely and totally. If you are one now with your higher self, you know it. It's a knowing. You're a loving being towards yourself as well. Noble, strong, and humble. All you have to do is expand the aliveness of your cells and become one with your higher self. It's really that simple. Now it's simple, yet it's might not be easy, but it's pretty simple. If you have any questions, just open your eyes slowly and gently, and you can share your experiences with me and chat with me. I hope Anjay answered your question about attachments to loved ones. There is no right and wrong, really, but you do have a choice to be who you decide to be. That's our gift, freedom of choice. Any questions? Just, okay. Munira is saying, I feel I am an angel. Well, perhaps you are an earth angel. Maybe we are all angels with an ego as individuals, but yet what? Part of the whole, part of all that is. Anybody else? Naranda, Munira, Anja. I'm going to ask you to always be aware of these vibrations. Once you connect with these vibrations, the vibrations which are the aliveness of your body, the aliveness of your cells, once you connect with that, you can actually talk to it and receive answers. You can expand these aliveness, the aliveness of your cells, connect with your higher self, and communicate with your higher self in a very playful manner, a peaceful manner. Don't push the river. If you're stressed and fearful and angry, you will probably not get anything, any answers or insights. It's about being centered, knowing who you are, or going on faith that you are a spiritual being for now, until you experience it, and then know it in your heart. Rashan is saying, I was very happy and smiling when I was breathing deep and doing this. Well, why not? Are you surprised that you have the capacity to be happy and feel the aliveness of your body? That's your nature. With all the problems in the world, we forget our nature sometimes. We forget we can be happy for no reason, really, just because you are who you are. Thank you, Rashan. So I'm going to leave you today just by asking you to maybe every morning just breathe in like you did now for a couple of minutes and focus on your breath. Just get out of your mind to meet God. You must be out of your mind to meet God. So focus on your breath or focus on your heart. Let go. If you want to take a course on Saturday, then I welcome you, and we'll go deeper into the modalities if you feel it resonates with you. You have freedom of choice, and you're stronger than you know. Again, there are many, many methods. If the breath speaks to you, resonates with you, and maybe we can pursue this. By yourselves or with me, it's up to you. Okay, so any last questions or comments before I leave you? Hope to see you Saturday. Just let me know. God bless. Thank you, Rita. Thank you. Talk soon. Bye for now.